maker has embarked on a never-ending journey of change actions. The authors knew that their desired state is a world of opportunity and success for every child, but the path to that desired state is a very long, very difficult climb. Timeless Learning is not a cookbook, although it contains plenty of recipes for a stimulating meal, nor is it a prescriptive roadmap, although it provides abundant tips about traversing the difficult terrain of educational transformation from experienced travelers. As I read it, this is a tale of morally driven individuals who want to right the wrongs in education that they experienced. They do not want to see more children suffer from schools that are ostensibly institutions to help them. More important, they want schools to see the children and serve them well. This is a critical time for education. The human society is going through an episode of tumultuous changes. Political instability, widening economic gaps, environmental degradation, rising racial tensions, growing nationalism, and rapid technological changes are all working together to affect the future world our children will occupy and we, at least some of us, will retire in. This future is extremely uncertain. It is impossible to get our children ready for a future so uncertain. Thus, the popular idea of readiness such as college and career readiness and future readiness is as absurd as it is popular. Our children cannot be ready to walk into the future pre-made for them. They have to create this future. Whether they can make their future and our retirement peaceful and prosperous depends on what we do in schools today. And what we do in schools should begin with seeing the children. Keep in mind the questions that guided the journey of Pam, Ira, and Chad. What do you see when you look at your school? What do you see when you look in a classroom? What do you see when you watch children in the playground or on a street or in a park? What does learning look like? What does growing up look like? Yong Zhao, University of Kansas, East China Normal University. Introduction. How we came to see learning and school. What do you see when you look at your school? What do you see when you look in a classroom? What do you see when you watch children playing in the playground or on a street or in a park? What do you see when you watch teenagers gathered on a corner? What do you see when you see two boys wrestling, or three teenage boys pushing each other? What do you see when you watch two 14-year-olds trying to escape your gaze so they can pay attention to each other? What does learning look like? What does growing up look like? In the end, it all comes down to knowing how to see, to understanding what we are seeing, and to putting what we learn from our effective vision into action for our children. Though this book will cover many topics, the primary lesson design we've created is one that we hope will continue to push us and our listeners to become much better at seeing children. Once we are able to see clearly what is happening with children in our schools and outside of our schools, we will then be on the path to learn how to take rapid, yet deeply considered actions to change the educational system we have inherited. We begin by describing what compelled us to each come to our work to change education. Although we are different leaders and we represent different background experiences, we share a passion for changing the vision of schooling as it existed yesterday and even as it exists today. Ira's story. Ira's realization of why he is here, doing the work he is doing now, after a lifetime of trying out careers designed to be of help to others, from victims of crime to victims of homelessness, began with his realization that all of victimhood starts in childhood, sometimes under the guise of parenting or teaching or both. This is one small part of his story from another book that represents a bit of who he once was and who he is still in some ways. It's what keeps him coming back to work day after day when it would be far easier to do something else, stay home, or hike a mile on the Appalachian Trail. He comes back because he believes if he can make one kid have better days than he had as a kid with dyslexia, it's all worth it. He knows this because his own early life experiences took him down paths that were catastrophic for him. This was his life before a high school teacher saw the potential within him rather than his deficits. My days were changing, falling back into the special education pattern of elementary school, resource rooms and the tower, tests and analysis, broken only by avoided classes and sports practices, football in the fall, basketball in the winter, baseball in the spring. I didn't make much of an impact on the football team, though I got to alternate at halfback bringing in the plays. But I mattered to basketball and baseball as a point guard and as a catcher, and those coaches, I suspect, were the adults who fought to keep me more or less in school. I probably went to a few classes, though if I did, I sat in the back and